In 2024, I came to the Moab 240 not really knowing what I was walking into. I didn't fully understand what it meant to crew an ultra runner, and I definitely didn't realize this was going to turn into a multi-year film project. I'd just finished another expedition with Nick crossing the Molokai Channel when he asked me if I wanted to document Moab. But that first year, it was just me. I was driving between aid stations, filming, and trying to support Nick whenever I could. It was chaotic and exhausting and literally almost broke both of us. Going into 2025, I actually didn't know if we were going to be going back to Moab until pretty close to race day, and once I found out, I asked my friend Joe if he wanted to come along and assist me, and Nick got a pacer, Ryan, to help assist him out on the course, and suddenly this thing started to feel like it was actually coming together. After the race, we flew to Banff to close the loop on this story, to shoot the sit-down interview, capture the final intro shots, and really just finish this film properly. From the very beginning, I knew that I didn't want this to be a straight chronological race recap. I wanted this to be two different perspectives living inside the same film, the racer and the crew chasing him around the Moab desert. I wanted the story to unfold through interviews, not just what happened, but more why Nick chooses to do this in the first place. Nick isn't just an ultramarathon runner. He base jumps, swims open ocean crossings, cycles entire continents. Most people in this race run, but Nick does a little bit of everything. And that made him the perfect subject for this story, because Moab isn't the point, it's just his latest expression of whatever he's doing. That's why the film opens the way it does. Base jumping, ocean crossings, cycling, all of it built toward one question. What are you chasing now? And his answer was simple, just one word: more. And then that became the spine of this documentary. I'm back home in Canada now, and I feel like it's only fitting to film this video in my office where I spent the last few months actually putting together this documentary. It's always a weird feeling when you come home from a trip and you're so elated about everything that you saw and did, the shots you got, and you're just excited to throw them in a timeline, color grade them, and see what your favorite shots are. But then you get to the part where you actually have to start putting this together, figuring out the story, the sound, the pacing, and it's a somewhat overwhelming feeling, especially on a project this large. But I have devised a strategy for this from my brain. And to be honest, people probably already do this, but it has been so helpful for me in terms of efficiency. First things first, go through all the footage and get rid of the Keep anything that you could foresee using in the actual edit. While you do this, label the footage by color to help you stay organized, like yellow for dialogue, orange for B-roll, etc. This means at a glance, I can see the footage and know exactly what it represents. Just a side note, I've been a YouTube editor for like 7 years, and this has saved me so much time. I do the same for interviews, and I label them with an adjustment layer just telling me what the topic was. In some ways, this particular project has filming limitations because this is an event-based documentary. The racer's going from the start line to the finish line, and we're filming that entire process. And creatively, there's only so much control I have in that structure. So where I had to be creative wasn't in controlling the event itself, it was in shaping what the film actually meant. When I'm planning this out, I create a mood board that I can reference with shots that I like, angles I think would be cool, maybe scenic locations I can shoot at, but I can't stop the race to get these shots. I can get them before or after the race, but documenting the race itself is very unpredictable. But this film was never about the race. It was about Nick's constant pursuit to challenge himself by doing the most difficult things he can possibly do. It's about redemption, failing something and refusing to quit. And once I understood all of this, it made shaping the film a lot easier. Call it understanding the narrative of the story. From that point, I built the interview questions. I wanted him to give me a verbal documentation of what happened at the event, but I also really wanted to understand his why. Questions like, what did you feel when you crossed the DNF point from the first year? How are your standards for good decisions changing when you're hypothermic, sleep-deprived, and emotionally compromised? When everything hurts and the weather turns hostile, what do you rely on to keep you moving? And at what point does mental toughness become reckless, and how do you personally draw that line? All these questions tell me about his mentality and why he chooses to do these insane things. Not only was Nick's why important, but so was mine. Why I find this interesting, why I wanted to make this film, and why this should even be a story. I've always gravitated towards people who push themselves and try to do things that sound impossible. What would possess you to run 240 miles through the desert, or bear crawl a marathon, or swim an extremely dangerous body of water at night? There's something captivating about that, and I think the story just needs to be uncovered. That's ultimately what drives me to film and capture these things. That constant pursuit to never settle, to continue to push my creativity and my work ethic to make great things about incredible people. For the last 2 years, I've been figuring this damn thing out, and there's been countless hours spent editing and reworking and branding it, and it's finally done. The film's called Dirt Dog, and it's going to be live on YouTube March 22nd, and I'd love for you to go check it out. Peace and love, y'all.